Welcome to all of our viewers worldwide, and that includes the Cougars of Northwest Rankin in Flowood, Mississippi. We're spinning the globe first up today, taking you across the Pacific Ocean to Japan. Mount Ontake, a volcano and popular hiking destination west of Tokyo, suddenly erupted on Saturday. It was its first significant eruption since 1979. A cloud of ash rolled up into the sky and down the side of the mountain toward an estimated 200 to 250 climbers who were nearby. Most of them reportedly made it down in time. You can see them moving away from the summit in this video. But as of last night, at least 31 people were presumed dead and about 10 were seriously injured. Some were still missing. Hundreds of police, firefighters, and military troops climbed two separate parts of the mountain yesterday in search of survivors. The Japan Meteorological Agency says another big eruption could happen over the next week. There have been some smaller ones already, and the ash has impacted airline traffic over Japan. Last week we told you about NASA's 5 current missions to Mars, including the latest orbiter called MAVEN that recently arrived there. The U.S. isn't the only country interested in the red planet. India has gotten involved with its own Mars mission, but they've done it for a fraction, just 11% of the MAVEN mission's $671 million cost.
T-10, 9,
So chances are you've heard of NASA, but have you heard of ISRO? That's India's space agency, which recently burst onto the scene by sending an orbiter to Mars. It's a major engineering feat that puts India into an exclusive club. It's now one of 5 space agencies, including the U.S., to send a mission to research the red planet. What might be more impressive, though, is that India made this high-tech achievement at a relatively low cost. How low? About $74 million. And that puts India at $43 million below Russia, which didn't even work. So how did India do it? And is it a fair comparison? According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the mean annual income of an aeronautical engineer in the U.S. is just under $104,000. In a country where the average per capita income is around $1,400, India's engineers in the program are reportedly making significantly less. And the spacecraft itself? Well, it's an orbiter, meaning it won't land, so it's less complex. India made a Mars orbiter that costs less than it took to make the movie Gravity. Sounds like a big deal, and it is.
History has been created today.
But India's mission is more of a proof of concept, showing that they can get there and that they're leaders in low-cost innovation. So is there a new space race, and does it include India? It's not clear yet. India's triumph reminds the world that space isn't just for the wealthy industrial countries to explore. And for science, that's a good thing.
Headed east from India to Hong Kong, this has been a special administrative region of China since 1997. What does that mean? Hong Kong used to be part of the British Empire. It was returned to China in 1997. China is a communist country, but it promised it would allow Hong Kong to keep its civil liberties and that it would not impose control over Hong Kong's free market economy. However, a major protest was organized after many students said China was breaking that promise. Here's the issue. Hong Kong is gearing up to elect a new chief executive. It's the city's top civil position. China's government has allowed only candidates it had checked out to run in that election. Protesters say that's an intrusion into Hong Kong's self-governance. College and high school students held boycotts and demonstrations, some of them violent. They occupied some buildings in Hong Kong's business district. Police used tear gas against them. Dozens were arrested. Dozens of others were injured. The city's current chief executive calls the protesters' concerns unfounded and says the demonstrators should go home. But many students are staying put.
Time for the shout out. Which type of doctor would be most concerned with the functions of the brain? If you think you know it, shout it out. Is it a neurologist, a nephrologist, a hematologist, or a pathologist? You've got 3 seconds. Go. A neurologist specializes in the science of the nervous system, which includes the brain. That's your answer, and that's your shout out.
The University of Miami is looking for a few good brains, and not just to study there. It has a lab that holds about 2,000 human brains that'll actually be studied. The organ, nicknamed gray matter, is actually one of the most complicated and mysterious objects in the known universe. Researchers hope the study of donated brains will unlock some of those mysteries.
We have over 2,000 human brains that are donated for medical research. In this room, we have tissues from over 600 donors approximately that have suffered with different disorders like Alzheimer's or Parkinson's or schizophrenia. This brain has recently been donated for research from a person who suffered with Alzheimer's disease. You can tell by looking at the external surface of the brain, and you can see that there are large parts of the brain where the sulci look wide and open. That's because the brain is degenerating.
How do you get to the point where you have a brain here?
People learn about us and they can make a decision to donate the brain after death. We have about 650 donors right now that are signed up. We need 10,000 donors signed up. One brain can provide tissue to hundreds of qualified scientists, and it's also going to offer up the discoveries that are going to let us bring about the cures for Alzheimer's, for Parkinson's, for ALS, schizophrenia, all of the diseases that affect the human brain.
Chicago isn't the capital of Illinois, but it is by far the largest city in the state, and it's where we're kicking off the roll call with the Jaguars of Pritzker College Prep. Thank you all for watching. Memphis isn't the capital of Tennessee, but it is the largest city in the state, where the Kodiak Bears of Kate Bond Middle School are watching. And Corona, California rounds out our roll. We've got the Sharks circling at Santiago High School. Food desert. It's not necessarily a place with no food, just a place where you're not easily able to find healthy and affordable food. The U.S. government estimates that about 7% of Americans live in a food desert. It may be a rural town or an inner city neighborhood with only fast food restaurants or convenience stores. It's the kind of place where Chip Palex is helping meet a hunger for something fresh.
This is a working class neighborhood. It's difficult for a lot of us to afford fresh produce. We just have corner stores basically. And they don't have a large variety of fresh fruits and vegetables.
These are awesome, aren't they? I started the farm with my daughter. In the first year, we were able to get 120 pounds of produce. With all the extra produce, we brought it down to the local food pantry. I realized that people are hungry for fresh fruits and vegetables. We grow, we glean, and we give. When we first started the program, it was basically my family. Now we're around 4,000 volunteers. Excellent. It's not just feeding people. Our goal is really to educate the folks who receive the produce.
All right, are you guys ready for some corn? Yeah! Woo!
When kids come out for the first time from the inner city, they immediately are struck by the fact that food grows out of the ground. There you go. For them to be able to actually harvest it and then bring it home to their families, that's huge. Who's the first time you ate corn right off the stalk? Look at that, huh? We also go into inner city areas and we set up a free farm market. How we doing? Thank you, sir.
I have diabetes and high blood pressure. Some things that I need for my diet, a lot of times I can't afford.
You like this corn, huh?
Very
Yeah, this is good stuff.
Since I've been going to the farmer's market, I have lost some weight. My sugar is better controlled and the food is delicious.
I believe that everyone deserves to be able to eat healthy. There's no greater reward.
The world record for the human running long jump is 29 feet 4 inches. For dogs, it's over 30 feet. Shouldn't they have their own Olympics? They do. They were held this weekend. Some dogs compete in agility, some jump for joy in flying discs, some soar off a dock and splash down. It's a chance for canine athletes to show what they're made of. And thanks to the wonders of technology, we're able to get a dog's eye view of what it's like to jump through hoops. We'd love to name the events, though: collie ball, boxering, pugby, skeet-tsu, basset ball, hound ball, shep hurdling, the parallel barks, chihuahua water polo. You know, the events like this show have gone to the dogs, y'all. I'm Carl Azuz, CNN Student News retrieves more news for you tomorrow.